Hello again. So now it's time for the nostalgic rave, since I've actually kind of running out of things to talk about. Now, so what am I doing on this time? Well, I'm going to do it at when Nicktoon for when when Nickelodeon was still actually a good channel, for the most part. So it's actually one that really gained a cult following, and one and that definitely was not recognized at its time, but it's really being seen for what it is now. That show is Invader Zim. And it was created by a comic book writer artist Jordan Vasquez, who's known for works such as Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and Squee. Yeah, so exactly the type of person that you want to do a kid show. Oh, it tells a tale of Zim, an alien from the planet Earth they once decide to invade planets, and the almighty Tallest don't really trust him, so they just send him off to a little planet known as Earth, and thinking they won't get there at all, but he does. And what follows are some of the darkest antics you'd probably see in Nicktoon. Trying to come across and trying to stop him is Dib, a nerd who loves the paranormal, and is pretty much the only one who realizes that Zim was doing all these things. And there's Gaz, he is a caustic young woman, who loves her game slave and does not want anything to cross her. And it's also Professor Membrane, who is a parody of all those scientific professors from a lot of those 50s B movies. And there's also Zim's little malfunction student called Go, whose head is filled with trash, quite literally. He's definitely a Cloud Cuckoo lander, that he constantly screws things up, but he's very amusing that way. And this is by far one of the darkest Nicktoons that once it's been produced. That even since the network wouldn't let is a persistent thing that the network wouldn't let him show the bloody gore, so he just purposely hid it in a few frames of each episode that you wouldn't be able to physically see it, but if you're perceptive enough, it could register in your brain. And there was this episode. It's from the get-go. The parent-teacher in that episode, where he makes these robotic parents in order to try and prove that he's human. But hold on. Alright, what was I? Oh yes, talking about some of the episodes of the series now. There's also Walk of Doom, where he tests out a new GPS capability of Gur, but Gur takes it out in favor of a cupcake, so they must find way back home from the city. Invasion of the Idiot Dog Brain, in which Gur accidentally uploads his personality into the house. House then causes a rampage all around town, and eventually decides that he wants some tacos. Game Slave 2. It's definitely going to register with anybody who had to deal with not getting a PlayStation 3 or Wii at launch, or if you're old enough, PlayStation 2. A boy named Iggins Scrubs scares the wrong way when he grifts her out of the new Game Slave 2, it's really incurs her wrath, having voices and stalking him, and making sure he never gets to play it, yet finish the game at all. Gas taste of pork, which it's an experiment gone horribly wrong, causes every food but hot dogs that Gas eats to taste like pork, which really doesn't sit well with her. Dolly's Pizza Hog, which takes place in this where Gas wants to go to dinner in a strange Chuck E. Cheese like environment, but it's definitely a horrible place. Of course, Dip gets caught with some mess with Zim, and which really angers Gaz. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's see here. What else can I get? Mega Doomer. Yes, that's another one. And he gets this giant robot, which can only move is plugged into something, and it has a cloaking device that only cloaks the robot, but doesn't cloak Zim at all. Well, that's definitely one of the why I enjoy the series. It's definitely had that surreal edge to it. It was not only dark, but it was also quite funny as well. Yeah, I'm not familiar with either with Johnny Homicide or Maniac or Squee as part of Masters of Comics, but I did like the animation. That was actually quite ambitious for the time. That not many Nicktoons combined and traditional animation CGI before Invader Zim, but now it's relatively commonplace. He's saying it was a lot more expensive back in 2001 as opposed to this decade. And in fact, that's a lot of one of the reasons that Nick decided to cancel the show is because it was much too expensive to produce. And regarding the season finale and the series finale, a food court, a planet food court, where Zim is sent back to his old job of Foodquartia in order to fulfill all his because he's not supposed to be out there. It was essentially a backwater planet whose primary job is food courts in. So he attempts to sneak out before the gravity on the planet sets in, and so they can't leave for another several decades. And he manages to get out through the body of a trucker and the food what he eats, and he's managed to get back to Earth. But at that point, the Almighty Tallest are sick of his antics, and they just turn off the monitor, the communications monitor. And that's essentially how the story ends. But I'm gonna have another cut here and talk about it a bit more. Okay. Now this last part, I'm gonna have I'm not sure how long this is gonna go. And since talking about the first few episodes, which was around 3 minutes, talking about the key episodes was the series finale, around 4. So I'm just gonna keep talking about how the series is impacted us. Impacted. It was definitely unceremoniously canceled by Nick early in 2002 because all parents complained about the dark content of the show, and at the time Nick didn't want that sort of thing, and more light-hearted shows like the Fairly Odd Parents and SpongeBob were more their forte, and as before, Stephen Hillenburg was more hands-off for SpongeBob in that, and Paul Tibbett turned into a gross-out show. Naturally, this drove it to one of the biggest cult followings into an animated series I've seen. In a sense, it's like Nickelodeon's Firefly, and that DVDs these were big sellers. There's in multiple of its releases that consistently popular was rerun on Nicktoons Network, and it's often considered to be one of the best Nicktoons out there. And I can definitely agree that I often tend to fall victim to cult classics a lot. That I'm one of the few people that saw Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I really love the film, and I actually like that it's sort of gaining these sort of midnight showings along the lines of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Okay. It's definitely a lot of cosplay with Invader Zim, a lot of fan art. In fact, Gur's dog form often inspired Chuck, the girl's dog, and Penny and Stocking with Garter Belt. Jonah Vasquez has also really didn't like the way Nick was trying to make demands with the series. And in a way, personally, I think if a series doesn't invoke controversy of some sort, and it's real, I mean, these really don't change bad publicity. I mean, if something goes on with it, it might get more people to get into it. And so, definitely make great strides. It's for and adding more dark elements to Nicktoons. That it means we had Danny Phantom, who was able to blend comedy with more serious stories. As well as Avatar: The Last Airbender, who essentially had 100 years war that killed off all the airbenders, and also managed to create a dramatic and grossing show because of that. Those also the same traits were inhibited in its successor, The Legend of Korra. And so, even though Invaders Zim only lasted 2 seasons, it definitely may have had a big impact on the way cartoons are made. And I definitely expecting a lot of cult turnout over this, and I'm not sure how people are going to react to this nostalgic wave, since I did that because of Power Rangers Megaforce discussion. Like a lot of my videos, that it's getting disliked, but it's also proving to be a popular video. So let's go at what works. After all, negative reception didn't stop Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen from being such a big hit. And well, that about wraps her up. Does it? I mean, so I got another Tron Uprising episode coming out, and because of this whole DNS threat that's going to happen today, and it's happening when I'm recording this video, I'm not going to actually be uploading it until about Tuesday. Okay, so you're probably going to be seeing this on Tuesday. And even though I use a Mac, and I still have to take every threat of virus seriously, that the browsers I use have protection on my security. I have an antivirus software, but still, I really don't have the money I need to buy another computer, at least not yet. So, anyway, that's about all I have to say about this. I'd like to hear what you thought of the show, so leave your comments below. You're definitely going to hear a review of the next episode of Tron Uprising, when it comes out. Even though I've been kind of really broke this month, but I'm going to try and see Brave, The Amazing Spider-Man Dark Knight Rises play theaters. So that's all. Leave your comments below. I'll see you later.